Okay, when I talk about maximum efficiency, and when I wrote my cookbook, the Let's Make Sense of Thermal Cooking cookbook, maximum efficiency was what I wanted to focus on, because it was a preparedness type cookbook. I mean, that's how I presented it, and I did it as far as how to utilize food storage, because a thermal cooker works so well with items that you would normally have in your food storage. And so they just fit so well together. That's how it made sense to write the book. So maximizing my efficiency is how I determined the amount of time things boiled and the amount of time things stayed in the thermal cooker. And these are the things I wanted to do. I wanted to have fuel savings, because in an emergency, you need fuel savings. Does that mean every single time that you use a thermal cooker, you need to worry about fuel savings? No, not at all. You can boil stuff for an hour. It doesn't really matter if you have the fuel, right? But in my presentation, as far as how I wrote the book and in my presentations, I'm thinking, let's see how we can save some fuel. And the other thing is, I want to make sure that it retains heat for 8 hours plus. When I first started teaching retain heat cooking, I saw an ad in the paper, and it said, keep your food warm for 3 hours plus or something. And it was for a thermal cooker. And I'm like, yeah, that's not even, I don't want a thermal cooker that'll only keep my food hot for 3 or 4 hours. I want it to be 8 hours plus. And there's some reasons for that. I want to be that efficient. So that's how I look at these things. And that's how as I figured things out as I wrote the book, these are the 2 parameters that I had as I did all the things I did. All right, so we have some do's with thermal cooking. Something must come to a boil. All right, so there has to be something coming to boil in the pot. Okay, and the pot needs to be 75 to 80% full to be maximum efficient. So as you learn these principles, you can manipulate it and have less food in there, but it's not going to stay hot as long. But you can totally do that. But for now, we're going to talk about maximum efficiency. So you want your pot 75 to 80% full. The don'ts, don't put anything frozen in it. You want it room temperature when you start, so you don't have the problem with having that cold piece of chicken or something in the middle that's going to drop the temperature of your whole pot if you take it off the stove. Okay, and no peeking. This one is, you'll get used to it where you don't feel like you need to ever peek, but it was hard at first. It's like, wonder if my food's not done. And so as you get used to it and just follow the times, and a lot of times my times are longer in the book than they actually need to be, just because, like, if I'm going to use a thermal cooker, I'm going to be having like 2 hours. I want to eat after 2 hours, 2 hours or past. If it's going to be under 2 hours, I'm probably going to figure another way to cook. That's just sort of the parameter I put in my head.